refreshing perspective about one of the most important elements that's made our modern world great. I've heard of many of the difficulties with renewables, mostly dealing with intermittency and cost, dollar and environment, but rarely do you hear about the scalability when talking about 8 billion people. His main premise is that fossil fuels being cheap, plentiful, and reliable have done the best work for human flourishing, and as technology advances the risks are negated. Hardly ever do you hear about a reward/risk comparison when talking about oil. You only hear necessary evils or just end-of-the-world predictions due to climate changes. The issue is the climate is dangerous, but having means and the ability we can make it as safe as possible for humans. Epstein makes a good case for the value of fossil fuels, especially in developing countries, and points out that without them, most Western nations would go backwards into third world status themselves. The book's a bit repetitive, but worth reading. This is a good book, full of valuable information. I saw an interview of the author, Alex Epstein, online and bought the book on the strength of that interview. Epstein is an articulate man, well-versed in his subject, with a lucid reason why fossil fuels are good for humans. He points out the energy available in fossil fuels is indispensable to the flourishing of mankind. Curtailing the use of that energy without some other source being available will bring death to billions of people. The dire consequences predicted for using fossil fuels have not materialized. The only dire consequences from fossil fuel usage has been in the computer models, and the models have not been accurate. The slight warming of the past century, about a half degree, has been a help, not a hindrance to making this planet livable. Carbon dioxide is a plant fertilizer. Other than hydro and atomic sources, there are no realistic alternatives to fossil fuels. So-called renewable sources of energy, wind and solar, are intermittent, therefore not reliable, and the rare earths needed for building wind turbines and solar panels are extremely polluting. Hydro and atomic sources of energy face opposition from environmental groups concerned with safety or aesthetic problems. This is a great book. It describes everything that fossil fuels have given to the world. Fossil fuels provide us with our wonderful life, our homes, our food, our clothing, our medicines and hospitals, all of our transportation, computers, cell-phones, etc. You name it and fossil energy is behind it. There is absolutely nothing else on this earth, other than fossil energy, that makes our lives comfortable and safe. Epstein describes the very real problems in the use of so-called renewables. He explains why converting to them means the death of millions of people around the world. I enjoyed the philosophical argument that fossil fuel is even good for the planet. It seems nowadays we have to be careful of blaspheming against the holy narrative of man-made climate change, as if it is criticism exempt. Almost to the end in just a few days. Direct, well-referenced and with historical context on many facets of the topic. Developing countries have as much right to inexpensive energy as today's first world nations did during their development. The author describes in detail, both historically and currently, how those seeking grants and influence thereby sell their credibility, as hundreds of their dire predictions have come to nothing. Predictions of the 70s have us all wearing gas masks in the cities by now, and also predicted that Britain would be a near-desert wasteland by 2020. The world was to be soon to run out of oil. Click link in description for more reviews.